Okay, I'm going to mute you all now. So at the end of the service, if you could unmute yourself at the end of the service, that'd be appreciated. Thank you. Okay, please join me in Gassho. Namandobs, 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 namandobs. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Shotsuki monthly memorial service. Welcome to all the people that are here. Can you hear me okay? Okay. And everybody there, you can hear me okay? Yes, okay, good. I'm trying something a little different. I'm wearing this mask or face shield as opposed to a mask today. The mask tends to muffle my voice a little bit more. And it's also harder for me to chant with a mask on. So we'll try this and see how it works. I'd like to welcome you all to our September Shotsuki monthly memorial service. And we'll begin with a moment of silent meditation, followed by the recitation of the name of the Buddha, or Nembutsu. Naman loves, naman loves, naman loves, naman loves, naman loves, naman loves. Sorry, I forgot to do this. There, okay. So next, what we're going to be doing is reciting the Bandhana Tisarana. I'm going to actually bring it up on the screen here. For those who are here, it's on page 325, I believe, of the purple Seitan. or you can see the screen if it's large enough for you to see, whichever. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. Dhamma saranam gacchami. I go to the Dharma for guidance. Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namandos, namandos, namandos. Next we will have the sutra chanting. We'll begin by chanting the Sambujo, which I am bringing up on the screen for those that are using the screen. For those that are using the Seiten, it's on page 89. And following the Sambujo, we will then be chanting the Sambutsuge. I will not be bringing up the Sambutsuge on the screen because instead, this being the Shotsuki monthly memorial service, the names of the individuals that we are remembering will come up on the screen. So the Sambujo is on there, but the Sambutsuge is not. I did send out the text for the Sambutsuge to all of you, so hopefully you were able to print it off or have it with you. So we'll start off with Sambujo, followed by Sambutsuge. And when we start the Sambutsuge, for those who are here, when you see your loved one's name come across the screen, or you could just come on up and if it's too small, you could come up whenever you want to burn incense. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs. Naman Nobs, Naman Nobs. Ujo Minami So those at home, you could read the English along with me. We respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome Shakyamuni Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome the Buddha of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. This morning, we have gathered here in the quietude of Amida's temple to commemorate the September Shotsuki monthly memorial service, in which we remember our loved ones who passed on during the month of September. We faithfully recite the Nembutsu and humbly join our hands in Gassho. May the fragrance of incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the beauty of the flowers offered remind us of the glory of the Dharma. And may the lights that burn brightly upon the altar lead our thoughts to Amida's eternal light of wisdom and boundless compassion that dispels the darkness of our ignorance. に No more knobs, no more knobs, no more knobs, no more knobs. So at this time, I'd like to give my Dharma talk, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to take my mask off, or head shield off. I think I'm far enough away that it shouldn't be a problem, I hope. Okay. And I'm going to begin by reading a passage from Shinran Shoni's, what we call it, Tanisho, the letters lamenting the divergence. So I'm going to begin by reading this passage. When the thought of wanting to say the Nembutsu emerges from deep within, having entrusted ourselves to the inconceivable power of Amida's vow, in that very moment we are grasped never to be abandoned, thus receiving the ultimate benefit. Namanats, namanats, namanats. So once again, good morning everyone, and welcome to our Shotsuki monthly memorial service for September 2020. It is a service in which, of course, we gather here to honor the memories of loved ones who have passed on through this month of September. Now, normally, in previous years, September is usually a time when the temple activities begin, when school starts up. It's a time of anticipation, excitement, but of course this year is unlike any year we've experienced in the past. I know my daughter, our youngest one, is going into grade 12, and so just, they're about to begin their school again this coming week, and it's nothing like they've had in the past. They were only taking two courses or two classes every quarter. They're split up into 4 quarters in the school year. And so every day she'll take one course A or course B for 10 weeks. And then they switch to the next 2 courses and so forth, so forth. But, and also with our temple, of course, we haven't been able to do many activities. And so it is, instead of a time of excitement and anticipation, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty. But at the same time, because of the pandemic, I think it has brought many of us, if not all of us, to reflect upon what is important in life. To the priorities in our lives have changed. making us to think a little bit more. And I think this is part of the reason why these on-air, online gatherings, these Zoom meetings have been so well received, is that people are out there looking or searching to find meaning during this time of crisis or pandemic. As I was mentioning, September is usually time of the beginning of school, and as I was thinking about this, I remembered my school years. In particular, what brought to mind was the time I spent in Japan studying to be a Buddhist minister. And for 1 year while I was there, I went to a special school. Unlike any other school we have, it was called the Central Buddhist Academy, or in Japanese, Chuo Bokkyo Gakuin. Now, this is a school, it's like a Buddhist seminary school. It's a school to train ministers or train individuals to become ministers within the Jodo Shinshu school of Buddhism. And I attended that school for 1 year. And in fact, right now, our former minister assistant, Naoki Hirano sensei, is actually attending that school now. He went spring this year, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic in Japan, all their courses have been online. So he could have actually stayed here and taken his courses if he wanted to. But I think starting September, they're actually going to the school to take the courses. But anyways, this is, as I mentioned, is a school that's unlike any other school. And every morning, the school days began with a morning service. So all the students would gather in the hondo like this, except it's in Japan, so it's all tatami mats, right? And at the beginning of the year, we would be broken up into groups, usually about 8 people per group. And every morning, a different group will be responsible for conducting the morning service. And so within each group, there were some individuals who have been second-year students, and they would be sort of like the mentors for the first-year students. So you would split up all the responsibilities of the morning service. So for most of you, you're probably unaware, but there are many different responsibilities associated with the service. Here, I rely heavily on Roy Sensei. He does a lot of the responsibilities for me. Things such as preparing the altar, doing the flowers. So one of the students will be responsible, for instance, for preparing the altar. Now, the flowers don't get changed every day, but things like, lighting the candle, making sure that the rice is put up, making sure that the offerings are put up, that's one responsibility. Another responsibility was at the beginning of the service, somebody has to ring the kansho bell, the assembly bell. And then somebody else, another student, will be responsible in leading the chanting. And then also somebody else will be responsible for giving the Dharma talk. And so it was all split up into different responsibilities. The hardest one was probably either giving the Dharma talk or leading the chanting. There's also a reading of what we call a gobunsho. It's like the letter on white ashes that we read at the funeral service. So we have to practice reading that as well. So all these things are responsibilities that they have. So I was reminiscing over going to this school. And one of the things that I was reminded of, or I remembered, was in the hondo, there was a scroll. Just like we have the scroll up you can't see it on the Zoom, but we have a scroll in our hondo up to the left. This one says Jishin Kyo Ninshin. Okay. But in the school that I attended, in their hondo, they had a scroll and it had this written on it. Okay. For those that are here, it says Gakubutsu Dai Hishin. Gakubutsu Dai Hishin. Okay. 5 characters, Chinese characters. And this actually, all of you have heard this phrase or verse before. In fact, many of you, or most of you, have heard it many, many times. Of course, you don't understand it because you're not familiar with the Chinese characters, but it comes from a chant that we call Kisamboge. This chant was written by the great monk Zendo Daishi, or Shantao. He's the 5th of what we call our 7 patriarchs, or 7 great masters of the Pure Land teaching. And he lived in China. I can't remember the dates offhand, but many, many centuries ago. And this chant, we chant every single time we have a funeral, Kisamboge. It is chanted before we give the presentation of the Dharma name. So at the very beginning of the funeral services, you'll see I come up here and I usually do the short chant, and then we present the Dharma name or the Homyo. That chant is the Kisamboge. So this verse comes out of that chant. And therefore, if you're here for the Shotsuki service, most likely your relative had a Buddhist funeral. In other words, you would have heard this verse. But what these 5 characters mean, and it's very interesting. So one way of understanding this, gaku means to study, okay? Butsu, Buddha, or the Buddha Dharma, the teachings, okay? Dai means great, and Hishi means compassion, okay? So study, Buddha Dharma, great compassion, okay? So what this means, if you understand that, it means to study the Dharma is to understand great compassion. Okay? So this is emphasizing the major point of the Buddhist teachings is to learn about compassion, to receive the compassion of the Dharma. And what this means is that we are awakened to the greater oneness that exists. Compassion comes about when there is empathy to others, when we begin to realize we are not different from others. And this has to all do with the interdependence that we talk about in Buddhism. When we realize we are all one in this universe. Through the great compassion of the Buddha, we realize the loved ones that have passed on during the month of September, they are still very much a part of who I am today. We gather here and we remember them fondly, realizing they're a part of me in this very moment. So when I think of the world right now, and especially, I'm sure all of you are familiar watching the news of what's going on in the south of our border, we see all the anger and all the division that's going on. And this is because they're not understanding this oneness that exists. If we understand that, if we receive that compassion or empathy towards others, we can make this world a little better place. So as we gather here for this Shotsuki service, through our loved ones, they are giving us an opportunity to reflect on this. This passage, actually, there's somebody else, sorry, somebody's. This passage, again, can also be interpreted in a different way. So this first character, gaku, can also mean wisdom or knowledge. Okay? So if we understand this gaku as wisdom, then it's interpreted as the Buddhist wisdom is great compassion. The Buddhist wisdom is great compassion. So if we interpret it in this way, then we understand that for us even coming here is through the great compassion, the wisdom of the Buddha, the Dharma, of all the causes and conditions that have brought us here to this moment. So when we understand it in that respect, we understand that before we come here for the service, it is because of the urging of our loved ones who, along with the Buddha, are urging us to get in touch with what is important in life, with the oneness that exists. So when we receive that oneness or that compassion, great compassion, in gratitude, we put our hands together to say thank you. Thank you not only to our loved ones, but all the causes and conditions that allow me to be here. And so at this time, again, I'd like to ask you, please join me in Gassho as a way of expressing our gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So we'll close this morning's service with the singing of the Gatha Ondok-san, and it's on page 307 of your text, of your seiten, but I'm also going to bring it up here, so if you can just give me a couple of seconds here as I bring it up. And share it with everybody else so that the people at home can see it, the words to Ondok-san. So we'll now have the singing of the Gatha Ondok-san. Please be seated. So this will bring to conclusion our Shotsuki monthly memorial service for September. I'd like to thank all of you who have attended in person, as well as all those who are joined us via Zoom. If you want to unmute yourself, you may do so, and you can say your greetings to everybody else if you want to at this time.
Thank you, Grand Sensei.
Thank you.
Sensei.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Gwen.
Thank you, Reverend Grant.
If you want to see the people here, hang on.
Oh.
Here's the people that are in attendance here at the temple. This is what it looks like here.
Kyo?
Yeah, Kyo's here, and
Hi, Kyo.
Ozzy is here.
Yeah. Hi, Ozzy.
So
Hi, Q.
Tom Murao's here. Mary's here, and she's off to the side. You can't. There you go. So you are some of the people that are here. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Okay.
Anybody wants, there's some Italian plums in the kitchen, help yourself.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to end the service now. Thank you.